welcome everybody to a very special stream here for the channel. For today, we're going to be doing a special multiplayer session of the game Charge. As a very important point, this is a game that I did some consulting work on. I invited Thorn on to help me, as well as the team from For Honor Games. So I'll give them a chance to introduce themselves as I get the game going. So in any particular order, just feel free.
Okay, well, my name is Kelsey Kaufman. I am the senior producer, or just the producer for Charge itself for Honor Games.
Okay, I'm Dave, a developer on the game.
Hi, I'm Ian. I'm a senior producer on Honor Games' other project, Vultures.
All right. It is great to hang out with everyone again. We've been doing a lot of weekly meetings over 2025 for Charge.
A lot of meetings.
Alright, I'm going to load into the game now. Let me lower the sound just a tad. Is that up? So, while I'm loading into the game, would anyone like to explain to the audience, whether they're watching this live or recorded, what are we going to be seeing with Charge tonight?
Well, besides the devs playing each other, with the current game that we have, Charge, in my opinion, is definitely an arena shooting game where you are against 3 versus 3, could be with bots or other people, and your goal is to get all these cool little nodes that you see around here for one team, and another team is supposed to defend it, is trying to make sure the attackers don't conquer it, and all those nodes that you see are changing to pink. So, Dave, you want to chime in here?
Yep, yeah, it's basically tug of war. So you're trying to get the charge lines to the other side if you're the attacker, and if you're a defender, you're just trying to prevent them from being brought all the way across the line before time expires.
Will it join? Let's see. There we go. Oop. And hopefully we are still live. There we go. I think we're good. Or my YouTube may have been the one that messed up. There we go. Alright, so we are in. Like, one thing I remember I said this during the last playtest session. I mean, the lighting and the environmental, I think, came a really long way. Because for the people watching this, we were doing playtesting sessions like pretty much I would like very early versions. So it definitely looks a lot fancier now.
Definitely looks fancier. I know the art team had to work very hard on the last couple of months, so they do have their placeholders and the assets they have. Some of them did have to go in to try and update some of them. So our art director, Yui Meng, she was the one that would talk about the direction of the art and made sure that everything was updated, and wanted to make sure with the art team's help that everything was going to be ready for this game that you see in front of us. Dave definitely had to help because implementing it was also hard too.
Yeah, the game's come a long way.
I get a show of how bad I am when it comes to hits projectile-based shooting.
Uh-oh. Ooh. I did not expect that.
I didn't do too bad during our last session, but can I come back in this one? We'll see.
Yeah, I think you should be able to. So we have B and C have been conquered. So those are wondering what the heck is the UI that you're seeing right now. You see that the B and C area are pink and checked off. That means there's no way that the defenders, the blue team, is able to get those sections back. So that means all of blue team is going to be protecting A right now. And the only way attackers can go ahead and get A, or like the others, is make the nodes change all pink. Which looks like it's gonna happen because someone's gonna do the final one. 2, 1.
Oh, there we go.
Woo! United under glory. So there are two different musics, by the way. If you're on the winning team, there's the winning music, and Dave, I know you're on. Dave, sorry. Josh, you're on the other one, so you might have to hear the other one.
Nope. And I just canceled the game, sorry.
That's okay. We did look at the pretty lobby.
I was so excited for the win.
So with the weapon designs, this was something I know from when I first came on. There was a lot of back and forth in terms of what weapons we wanted in the game. So, like, for everyone here, like, what were kind of like your thoughts on which weapons we eventually got into the final version?
I think Dave can answer that question better than me. I wasn't on the design section of the game.
Yeah, the people who did that mostly were Leon and Riley and Yuli. They did the most of the work. Leon, I think the weapons were kind of his baby, and getting the tuning all right, and getting them just the way we wanted them for the aesthetic of the game.
And like for the people watching / listening, it went through a lot in terms of the early iterations. When the game was originally pitched, it was going to be like a far larger spectacle, and there was a lot in terms of weapon designs and elements that unfortunately got left on the cutting room floor. But I think the weapons that fit in here are pretty nice.
Yeah, I know the art team. So Yulu, who's the art director, she and her team, they had to go through a lot of textures. The person who did our textures for the guns, he was quick, but by the way, we were really impressed by his speed by doing it. But Yuli wanted to really keep a color scheme to all the weapons, if I recall. As you notice, the level has various shades of pink and purple to it, and the weapons are kind of matching that aesthetic as well, at least on the art side.
Let's see if I can make this work.
And welcome Jab to the game.
Yeah, I got a sword.
Yeah,
throw.
welcome. You have 6. Oh. So I don't know if you hit it yet, Josh. The most famous thing that kills me, besides Dave, Dave always eliminates me if we're not on the same team. There's this data stream mote. So you see a little really dark blackish orange mote. That's supposed to be the data stream because the level itself is supposed to be in the computer. So you're kind of like on a microchip. Or a hard drive, sorry, it's more like a hard drive.
Yeah, but I've fallen to that several times already. There we go.
Oh, I didn't do that last one today.
Dave, were you in the beginning of the game when it started, the project?
No, I came in. Yeah, I came in kind of after the most of the design had been kind of finished, and we're really just getting into the coding of it, which suited me fine.
So I know I started towards the end of the game's project about 6 to 7 months ago, and the interesting part is, as a producer, we would prefer to start more in the beginning to plan out better. But it was because the teams already have their habits, they have their sets that they already know how to go through. But my job was to help the team make sure it got published on time. So Dave, you also said that you joined later. Did you have any troubles joining in as a programmer? Did you have to learn the code really quick, or did you find it easy?
Not to code so much. The revision control system we used was new to me. Perforce, Unreal. I was kind of new to Unreal, but the coding was pretty good, and and Riley, the lead, did a really good job of like onboarding me and the others. So it wasn't too bad picking it up and just kind of making contributions.
Riley probably put it. No, not probably. Ryan put in. Riley put in the most hours. It's almost 1,000 hours. It was crazy. But Riley, we talk about here. He was like the main designer, programming, almost like a technical designer. I would almost label him as at times, at least in my head. But he really like put a lot of passion and work into this and helped Dave and anyone else that needed the help in the engine and design wise. So.
Doing a lot better than I did previous, which is good.
I got you.
Yeah, I think like this map definitely has come a long way from like again like the early playtest of it. I know there was plans on doing a second one, but it was time to I think eventually just get this game out because again everyone I think was just like ready and raring to go.
Yes. So there are technically other levels that was planned before I joined, but due to the time crunch and the restraint that everyone had, because everyone has personal lives, this was a revenue share game. So depending on how many hours you got in, that's the percentage you get from the game sales itself. So right now we're on a skeleton crew, but if we had more time and we had more people and even more funding, I would even say more levels would have popped out. Could there be something in the future? Maybe. Can't reveal anything if there does happen.
I didn't know this is like a waterfall. It's like spaghetti over here. It looks really nice. I remember seeing that the last time.
Oh, yes. That was like one of the last things. Brian, he surprised us a lot. He did a lot of the UI art, UI UX, and he went in there to kind of mess with the waterfall data stream. And it was something that Yuli, the art director, really wanted, and they kind of talked about together how they want to position it, how it should look. You gotta make sure it still has that sci-fi computer feel. I like to think of it as Tron. That's what it reminds me of. Except Tron's more motorcycles. Have you actually been in one of the streams yet? How would you call it, Dave? I always think of them as like the rainbow tubes.
Yeah, the data moat.
No, not the data mode. The one where you can travel in the tubes.
Oh yeah, data bus. Yeah.
Data bus. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. And the like a video broadcast or like the promo art is really cool too.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just jumping around. I'm trying to find like, wait, which node should I go to? Which one should I go after? I just see people flying around the little jump pads. Which I quite like the jump pads. I like the thought that you can move very quickly. If you're able to utilize it correctly or use it for your own strategy, they're very useful when you're trying to get away from people or trying to get somewhere quickly.
Oh.
Come on, we gotta get B.
And B is by design the longest one of these, so it always seems to come down to this.
Yes,
Yep.
that's correct. Because a lot of people just tend to fight it out. Come on! That's right. You can't handle this shotgun, can you? Ah, dang it! Someone got me with a sword. How dare you? How dare you?
It doesn't look like we're gonna get it.
I think we got it. Oh wait, are you on offense?
Yeah.
Yeah, defense is great and everything's great.
So if the attackers cannot get all of it, the blue team wins, which is the defenders. So Josh and Thorn, congratulations.
Nice job, Dad.
Yeah, good job, Jab. He's on attacker. Let's go, Jab. Keenan Yellow. Wait, which one's Keenan Yellow? Is that you, Ian?
Yeah.
That is.
Okay.
I know Ian didn't work with us on Charge, like he says, another senior producer, but they have another cool project from Honor Games called Vultures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's going pretty well. It's a complicated game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a factory simulator, but we're aiming for more of a lighthearted story, not driven, but a story that leaves an impact on you. Characters leave an impact on you, which is a little bit different than the usual factory sim.
Like that. I know that one did have a demo come out. It went to Winterfest, right?
Yes, we had a demo out for Winterfest. We're planning to release a new version very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Nice.
And then, as Thorn and I have been talking about, it's just like very tricky making an automation game these days. There's just so many of them out there.
A lot of animation games, you said?
Automation.
Automation. Oh, yeah, I guess there would be, huh?
Yeah, for sure. At this point, I don't know how much optimization you have to do with like the engine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one reason that we're trying to keep it not more simple, but a little more arcadey, a little more fun.
I see.
Doing what we
You know,
can with the resources we have.
Yeah. I know Vultures and Charge are completely different genres. Charge is very fast-paced. Gotta get them now. Only so many minutes on the clock to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Vultures is a little bit calmer, right? I mean, it's a different simulation game, but there's a different strategy with that one.
Yeah, different mindset, really, completely.
Where's my shotgun? This person's trying to get me. Oh,
I think we're all brawling in the center now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's a fun part when you guys get to go after each other. No, no! Oh, almost went into the moat. Can you just stop moving back and forth? Oh, man.
That's our pro strats, though. Slight left, slight right.
Mm-hmm. My best shot was when I got someone while bouncing around. I've never managed to replicate that since.
Funny, someone shot me in the air, which kudos to you, but I did not want to die in the air.
Oh.
I did not want to be eliminated.
If you're the one on top, yeah. Got it.
Oh,
Someone did what I did 15 times and just fell off the cliff after killing someone.
bad blue. Go ahead. Shh. Don't shoot our nodes, Blue! So Josh, is this your first time playing the game? Or did you play the earlier versions? Like when we went into beta sessions?
I played a few of them. I was around like the last playtesting one too.
Achoo, he's got a knife! I mean, sorry. I think, okay, during play session, not many people use the sword. but I actually like that someone's trying to use it.
It got
No,
more
they're so
powerful
sneaky. You
towards
have to
the
come
end.
up really fast.
There's another one.
Oh, I survived that jump. Okay.
Nice.
Berserker strategy does work.
Just shooting.
Someone's being
Ah.
terrifying with some sort of lightning over here.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite things. It's called the hazard trail. So it can hurt anyone though, but it's super powerful. So if it's lit up and you walk into it, you get damaged. You shoot it at someone, you're probably going to be eliminated because it's super powerful. But it's one of my favorites. But you have to go look for it because it doesn't pop up every second. Alright, I'm gonna go find one right now. Ah, the bad blue.
And someone's got bounty shots.
I got 2 of them. No.
Oh, sorry.
I apologize for a win. I wouldn't. Dave, how many power-ups do we have in the game?
There's 3. 4 if you count the scope weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that hazard.
That's right. I found it. Gonna go shoot some people now with it.
And
Well, I
hazard
don't-
pops up about halfway through the match.
Crazy.
Ah,
It's
okay.
powerful.
Well, bounty is going on there.
There's Prism Pass-Through, there's Hazard Trail. What's the other one I'm thinking of?
There's
The
the
Bounce.
reflection. Yeah, the reflection one.
Rebound.
Yeah, rebound.
Yeah. So the 4, yeah, 4 or 5.
I was about to do that.
Hey Thorn, is this your first time playing the game?
Yes.
What do you think of it so far?
That's pretty good. I
Are
like
you
the
happy
nade
to
system.
battle Josh?
It's definitely easy to get caught just shooting nodes and be happy shooting nodes.
Yeah, I like doing that too. And then other people, shoot me.
I'm not very good at aiming, but I can jump around like an idiot.
Okay, if it Sometimes it's part of the gameplay. That's part of the strategy.
on!
Come on, red team, come on, let's
Thorn, you are my nemesis.
Dave doing the must target, and yet we failed.
Yeah, I'm good at shooting things that don't move.
So I don't know if it showed the lobby earlier, but one of the things that the team added in. So the CEO Eric Chow, he really wanted to show a connection or almost the same universe with some of his books that he's written, and also Charge the Game. Vultures is its own complete universe. It's completely different. So this is supposed to be, as I've been told, the end game, like the ending of it. And in his books, he talks a lot about humanity and AI, or at least robots and humans. And this was to show that robots and humans come together by doing this tournament against each other or with each other. which is why if you go in the lobby and try and find your characters, you're going to find some androids in there, and then you have your different humans. And Brian, who is the UI UX guy, he, I don't know how he did this, but he told me he loves playing The Sims 4, just the characters. He just wants to make the characters. And he was able to, and he's never done this before in a video game either, for development-wise, but he was able to make the characters' faces and kind of change the body shapes based on the skeleton we have already. For different women and men and androids, androids do have a female or male body as well. Just to give them their own persona with their own personal face, which I liked. And he did mention that some of the characters are based off of people he knows, whether they're on the team or someone he knows in real life, which I thought was really nice. I don't think it's their real name though. He's using fake names, but I like that. At least with Honor Games, it was pretty much made by juniors or or almost juniors to intermediate level of people doing it as a hobby, trying to go into games industry or being laid off and needing a project. And it allowed us to develop our skills more by being experimental in here. So the team, they had a goal. They wanted to make it a very specific arena game. And they wanted to make sure that Eric's vision was still being shown while not ruin the design of the gameplay or the game loop. And I think just like Brian with the UI UX, he was able to go out of his comfort zone and learn something new. And I think Charge kind of did that for a lot of people. I know for myself, I got to practice more roadmaps. It was interesting to work with all remote teams again. I think Dave, you can speak for yourself, Dave, but I think Dave is doing great on making games. I hope he makes more games, honestly. I'd work with him again.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good experience. Like, unlike general programming, like the challenges you find in making games are like really interesting. Like, I want to make this thing move better, or I want to make this thing more impactful when it morphs shape or something like that. So yeah, it was good. It was a good change.
And you're a teacher, right, Dave?
Yeah, sometimes.
But I think it's like the best part though. Everyone has their own little lives and day jobs or careers they're into, and whatever time we had, whatever free time we were able to put into this. It was just very fascinating, especially with different time zones. That was hard sometimes, where not everyone could go to a meeting or someone's job reschedules them and they can't do something anymore. So that made it a little frustrating. But we still persevered and we did the best we could based on our deadline. And I think the level turned out great. Dave and Riley had to do a hot patch recently just to kind of fix one or two things, if I recall. But pretty good.
Yeah, I think while I was just playing, I may have found a new bug. My gun stopped working for a split second.
I know.
Yeah, whenever any game that I play from a team on stream, there's a good chance I will find that one missing bug.
That's what kind of happens in live games. And you know what? So I used to work in the game industry as an associate producer for Other Ocean and also for Life Force games. But Other Ocean, I did a lot of QA, and one of the things I liked was when people would live stream the game Medieval, the game we worked on for Sony. And just like here, where if you're live, or I can watch to see, are the players playing how we designed it? Are they doing something else that we didn't expect in QA? And I think that's really good organic testing. So if you're finding bugs for us, Josh, as much as we don't want that to happen, it will happen. But I kind of like that. So for QA point, they're nice because now games can be updated anytime. Even if a game is technically finished, we can always do a fix on it. Today's gaming, which I quite like.
What was the most difficult design decision you made during production?
Dude, what to kind of tell the team in production or just in design?
I mean, basically in the sense that in production, where what was the hardest decision you had to make and actually put into the game? Be it like a scoping issue or be it like a technical decision, that kind of thing.
I think it came up to two problems that arise. Was one, the team had realized, especially when I came in there and chatted with the leads, that they had a lot of great ideas, but just like any producer is going to come down to, you might have to mention them to scoping down, or we may not be able to do X, Y, and Z. So in it, I remember I kind of told them they wanted like a lot of levels in the amount of time frame they had, and looking at the time on how much they're doing stuff, because everyone had only a little bit of time to work on the game, I had to kind of explain to them that, you know, we can't deliver 3 or 4 levels in a lobby. We just can't. Either we deliver 2 levels with no lobby, or you deliver a lobby with a level to make it more complete. And the team voted more for the lobby and level, which I think was a really smart move. Another decision that was kind of not too hard, because art director Yuli was really great at understanding this part, was the art team had a lot of things that keep wanting to update. They always keep wanting to fix. And even those things, when I had to talk to her about it in the art meetings, or even before the art meetings, because her and I would just chat with each other one-on-one, I would talk to her how, you know, this looks really great, but, you know, there might be some things you might have to just push out, or we just don't do, you put in the backlog. And her and I would go over that stuff really quickly. And Yuli, I trusted her judgment because she knows the art the best. So I know there might have been a couple of levels they had ideas with. They talked about it to me before the leads did, which sound very they looked awesome. I can't say exactly what they were, the BA, but I know if the team had more hours on it, and maybe if I had joined a lot sooner and made a roadmap for them and helped keep them on track, I think you would have saw 2 more levels in this game. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think getting the ball rolling was probably the most trickiest part, like from where I was saying, doing a lot of the consulting, because as Kelsey was saying, there's a lot of really great ideas, but it always comes down to what can you actually make, given the time and resources that you have.
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
And it's hard, you know, because I don't want to tell anyone, no, you can't do this. Because if they decide to do it, okay, you can do it. But, you know, the game will be released on this date. I did some padding of time for padding. And in production, that means, you know, in case something happens, you already scheduled time in advance in case they need more time. So I had to predict that the team might need 2 more weeks. And I was right, but I made sure to schedule that while still having it on the original date they really wanted it on. But in case something happened, which, you know, in case they were late on something, they need more time, then I had enough time for them to still be successful. But I wish one of the other developers were here that are more on the beginning of the game, or Eric. They were really busy, or again, they're more kind of transitioning out, so they would not be at this stream. But I can't say how it was in the beginning on their decision making, or what was it like when they're coming up with the brainstorming ideas. Because I personally love level design. If I was a designer, it would be level design, for sure. It's beautiful. I don't know if others feel the same way, but I think of level design as you're the painter, you have a blank canvas. And level design has to know a little bit of the other designs. They have to know about their design, character design, what is the quests in here and their designs. Anything that's supposed to be made in the level to get to A, B, or even their side quests. So your job as a designer or the painter is to use all your paints and make this beautiful canvas level. And level design, I have a lot of respect. Which Yuli also did a lot of the level design. So a lot of people wore multiple hats, from I can tell. I think Riley, Dave, I think you had a hand in some of it and the brainstorming. Leon for sure did. He's not here though. But he was definitely one of the big designers on the gameplay, if I recall, and what to do with it. So the people I saw mainly on design was Riley, Leon. I would put you in there too, Dave, just in case. And Yuli, I would see them more in the designs. Sometimes Eric would be in there, like give his ideas, like I want this connection with the world. I really like this. While the 3 to 4 of them would go and try and design a world that made sense to the players of the gameplay, but also stayed connected to the universe that Eric wanted.
Did you have any funding sources, or is this all independent?
This, as Dave knows, this is all this is all volunteer. So we did not have any funding. We didn't have any backup. Eric Chow is technically the one that would handle that. So if there was any payment through Steam to upload the game in the feed, if there's anything with Slack, anything with emails, or the website, that all comes out of the CEO's bank account, from what I was told. Honor Games is definitely looking for funding as far as I recalled. But just like you've noticed the game industry, sometimes investors may not invest in a game studio. Maybe there's not enough grants out there for every single indie studio. You kind of just have to pretty much do a little R&D or search, because the one thing with Honor Games is I think if there was more funding, this game would have gone a lot further, just like Vultures would have more funding behind it. But we were revenue share based, which I mentioned, any hours we put into the game, we get paid for it. So let's say, who was it? Someone put in about 800 hours. And that's real. Someone did put in over 800 hours of work. And they would get a certain percentage based on what the developers got from a game sale. And that's why the more hours someone put in, the higher their payment would be per game. But that was kind of what we're banking on now. Will we be seeing millions of dollars? Well, maybe one day. Who knows? That's how far the game will go. But that's the only type of payment we have. We unfortunately didn't have funding during the project, which I think most indie game studios would love. But in the game industry right now, there's the indie revolution, where a lot of people who are laid off in the game industry are forming indie studios, doing the revenue share, or they all are just trying to make a project together. Cave Bear Games is another indie studio where they're just full-on juniors, never been in the game industry, or trying to get into it, and they made their own game and it blew up. So Honor Games is, I would say, very similar to Studio came in, we just wanted to make a game, we wanted to be heard, and this is the first game that Honor Games has published, and hopefully Vultures will be the second one soon this year. Right, Ian?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nice.
You're blue. Oh no! Oh no!
I sneak attacked you, yep.
How dare you?
Politely listening to him under you.
Jab! Get him, Jab! Where he is.
That's my sniper spot.
How dare you? We can't even camp in here. No one can camp in charge, because they'll find you.
Well, I'm a defender, I can camp.
But
I can camp my
goes
cubes.
after you.
Yep.
There's Jab. Get him, Jab!
I think we both output.
I guess a question for you, Kelsey. Like, coming in as a producer, what was kind of like, I guess, like, what did you think of, like, joining a team like this in terms of, like, managing or, like, trying to get some semblance of order going?
I would say it was it was definitely challenging, because in my opinion, which I've told Eric, I really would have preferred to get the beginning of a project. When you join with me, when I joined in, I didn't want to step on anyone's toes. Everyone already had their mantra going on, they knew what to do, and I didn't want to feel too pushy. But at the same time, if I didn't do something to keep them on track, what Eric had requested me to do, then the result would be the game will not be published in 2025. and the game would be keeping the push out. So when I came on, I found out the game was pushed out a couple of times on its original date. It was supposed to be released before I joined, and it didn't. And then we were supposed to release it in, I think the playtest we wanted to release. No, I think we actually did want this game released in November, but then we pushed out again, which is also a big part of the marketing, where we couldn't market anything because we didn't know when do we say which month it's going to be published in. But as a producer, I would definitely find it challenging, because at first I was didn't know how much I should request people to do something. Will they communicate with me? Will I be able to communicate with them when I have 2 things on the side I have to do besides work? Everyone has to make money to pay their bills. But I think after I talked to the leads and I got a groove into it, once I made the quarter roadmap, which was the last 3 months, lasted 3 to 4 months of what to do, was when I felt that the team really buckled down.
I
Just
gotta
like everyone
switch
else.
up the team. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
Yeah, thank you. The randomizer. Thank you.
Yeah, so the roadmap kind of allowed them to see, in this month, this should be done. And then I started doing different meetings with the discipline, with the art. So the art, our weekly meeting would go over an hour a lot, which isn't good, because you don't want to go past certain meeting hours for one discipline. It should be its own meeting. So once I started doing that with art, art had became a lot easier for them to accomplish things, because Yuli and I would discuss first, then go into the art meeting and talk with the artist. I would let Yuli run the meeting while I took notes for her. But and that seemed to do well. So with the roadmap, weekly meetings, trying to do Jira as best as I can. It's a bug tracking software used in game industry.
Yeah.
But it was a challenge. It was interesting. I wish I had more time. I wish if I was paid for this game, it would have been easier to do this for part-time. But because I need to make sure I can pay my bills, there were times I had to sacrifice any other side work so I had to choose my day job at times. It was needed. And there are some people in the team that may not have a day job or may not have to worry about bills, or not to the extent. And it showed. Where there are people that had more time, I was able to work better on it. While there are people who, that did have jobs like Dave and me, we would really have to schedule our times around it. And that was challenging too, as a producer, to try and figure out, well, who's where? How do I? The challenge too. If they're in different time zones, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Oh yeah, for sure. I have a day job with those time zones, and it's not fun sometimes.
No. East Coast meeting West Coast. There was some person, he does some animations, there was a ways. If you recall, Dave. When we interviewed him, he said that he can go to our weekly meetings, but it was going to be 6 a.m. for him. 12-hour difference. And it was crazy. And again, people like that, since it is a volunteer-based game, it's revenue share only, some people wouldn't stay for the whole project. They might stay for a few weeks to a couple of months, and then they had to bounce because it was taking too much time. So that was something in production that also made it frustrating. I would say, sorry, I shot my own person. He scared me.
And to what you were saying a few minutes ago about, if no one comes on the match, it just never ends. I've seen that happen quite a bit with a lot of smaller teams. And even just trying to do stuff locally around here, that it can just get into that cycle of everyone just keeps working on little things, and there's no plan at the end for it.
With the matches?
Oh no, with the development, with trying to organize.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just you don't have a project plan that's due at a certain point, so you're constantly fixing small things.
Yeah, I think Ian knows about too that it is hard to plan when you're joining a team that's already started. But I think Vultures is a little set up. They do have a demo out, which congratulations. And And they're gonna have like Ian. You're gonna have a lot of fun producing if you're starting it this year. Get everything ready for the big game.
Nice.
Yeah, Vultures has been in development for a good amount of time before I joined. So I had to get up to speed myself before I could make plans for anyone else.
Hey, folks, I'm gonna cut out. It's getting kind of late for me.
All right.
Yeah, no worries, Dave.
All right.
All right.
See y'all.
Have a great night, Dave.
Yeah, thanks. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Dave. Everyone, Programmer Dave for charge.
Yep.
Good charge.
As a time check, it's about 9:45. So we go maybe like one more match, or we can cut it here. However, whatever works for everyone.
Okay, with a little, if you want to do more Q&A, if you like. So I know the 10 o'clock's really pretty late for East Coast people.
At this point, we decided to have about like a 10 to 15 minute interview with Kelsey. Thorn and I were asking questions about kind of being the producer on the game, lessons learned, and stuff like that. So I'm going to let the gameplay footage roll as kind of just B-roll in the background. And please enjoy this part of the interview.
How did you end up attracting people to the project? And I know you weren't the first one there, but how did this project both get going and keep the ball rolling in terms of like communication or websites, or did you like show up to events or universities?
That's a great question. Funny because the leads and I did talk about this a little bit. So Eric Child, the CEO and founder of Honor Games, I don't know how he does it. He's just really great at finding people. So he'll go to events like GDC. Might post online on LinkedIn or other areas. He might know people in person. So he knew me in person. We met a couple years ago at GDC, and I remember he texted me after my producer mentor told me you should go in an indie game to help your resume get back in the games again. I said, oh, okay, and then 2 days later, Eric is asking, hey, we need a producer. Can you send us your resume to interview? So Eric would be the main person finding someone. He really takes it professionally, I would say. All of the people that do get chosen does have an interview process first. And then the leads or the people within that interview decide if they want to continue with the person or not. So I had to go through a process. I believe Leon went through a process. Dave went through a process, if I recall. I wasn't there for that one. I think Ian, you even went through one with Vultures. But this is something where Eric wanted to make sure people that said yes in the project, he wanted to make sure they were good enough for the project because he wanted to bring quality versus quantity into the games. Mm-hmm. He wanted to make sure Honor Games' mission for the studio was still there as well. And he's a very honorable man, in my opinion. And he does try his best to make the studio run that way as well, with honesty. And he wanted to make sure people joining still respected that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got to meet him in person. I was at MagWest last year, too.
I've never been to MagWest. Is it fun?
It was nice. A small event. West Coast, very hot for me there because I'm used to the weather over here.
Yes, it would be. New York is cold, or the East Coast. Well, like it depends where you are on the East Coast, huh? It's gonna be very humid, I hear, if you go more south, like in Florida, Georgia.
Yes, in terms of, I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase it. I guess with kind of like managing, I guess like as we're coming close to the end of the game, because that's always like that trickiest part, like knowing how and what to wrap up with a project, especially for something like this. I guess like how would you approach that particular side of trying to nail down, okay, if we want to ship Charge, this must be done.
Yes. So when I made the roadmap for Charge, it was more of a general overview of it. But the leads did already have tasks ready. And when I did talk to them, normally with Riley and Yuli, I talked to them most about them. Riley with more of the design and the implementation of the game, while Yuli with the art. Art was going to have a lot of stuff fixed. So both of them, I kind of talk about like, oh, do you have? I first asked them, do you still have enough time to do this? If not, we can put it on the backlog or we just cut it. And I was very honest with them about that part, and they were honest with me. At first, I was like, well, let me see if I can finish this. I think I can do it. And then when it came closer, they kept pushing it back. And then they're like, yeah, we just put this on the backlog. We can just delete this task. We don't need it. But because I was always remind them that, we're getting closer. And with the roadmap really, I think, helping to guide them while they knew what to do already, really helped them decide like, okay, well, maybe we don't need this because we have to reach X, Y, and Z first to reach our due date. So normally, again, like I wish I was here in the beginning. So with our team, there was a lot of tasks that we had to cut because at the end of the day, we wanted quality versus quantity. As long as the game loop was in there and was perfecting it, they knew and understood that no more new stuff. It is time to go ahead and clean up. And that is a thing that I do recommend, whether you're indie or not, whether you're AAA. People that have made games know that there is a time where you freeze your code, where you stop implementing stuff that are new, and you need to make sure you fix anything with what you currently have. So when you release it, you have less bugs to none.
Yeah. And
we did add in audio, though. We did add in 1 or 2 audios after the release, because, again, it was still good without certain audio. But we wanted to make sure the winning soundtrack was in. So that one was finished later.
Oh, yeah. And
great question.
CJ in chat asked, are there any planned special days like multiplayer events coming up?
That's a great question. That is something we'll discuss with Eric for. So my time at Honor Games, again, I was only brought in to do about 6 months, and it went to 7, so this will be about the 8th month or so. I will be transitioning out on January 31st. So I will not be here if they do any more events, unless maybe consulting if Eric wants, or let's say like this, Josh, if you guys invite me to come play Charge, if there's a new update on it, then yeah, I'll come in to say hi and talk about what I do. But at this moment, CJ, we do not currently have events for that planned yet. But that is something I've discussed with Eric before, and I'll bring it up to him again to see if they can do that. Because we personally would love to have big events where the community comes and battles it out each other. I would love to be giving out rewards to people, or Honor Games will say, hey, winner gets this, or come play with your devs and see if you can beat them. Which you probably will beat me because I'm not the best at the game. I always get eliminated just because I'm jumping around for fun.
Yeah,
good question, CJ.
Yeah. And that's always like the challenge when it comes to like these smaller projects, especially when it's like multiplayer focus, is that, and like to go back to the point we were just talking about, like knowing when to freeze and just to iterate and refine, that like for multiplayer games in particular, there's always that kind of, can we plan 6 to 18 months out in terms of new events, new guns, new seasons, and all that? But if 1, there's not a huge enough market for it, and 2, the team isn't able to do that, it can leave these games kind of like in this like very like stunted position.
Yes. So some of the games, as you know, let's take Apex. Right? Apex has a lot of seasons going into it. Fortnite has a lot of seasons go into it with their new updates. Well, the biggest thing that they have that Honor Games doesn't is they are funded. They have money. But it's not that we wouldn't like to do that. We're technically, again, at a skeleton crew. So a lot of people came in here to make sure we release the game that we have. If there was any more updates to it, that would be up to Eric Chow. And if he does, he'll definitely bring on more people to do what he needs to. I already told him I will make a roadmap of what it would look like to kind of help him, and he's welcome to update it. But because we're not fully funded, that means even I can't be a part-time worker on here because I just can't afford it. It's hard to do seasons. It's hard to do certain updates like that if you don't have enough developers on it. If you don't have that, so it does make it a little difficult. If we did have more funding to it and more people working on it, then you'd probably see more seasons coming into it. You would probably see more multiplayer events coming up.
Mhm.
But just like other indie game studios handle it, whether they're volunteer or not, is normally depends on the funding and how many people are working on the game to deliver. Otherwise, you go into crunch time where people are
Mhm.
working longer than they should and they get burnt out, which is not a good thing. Don't
Mhm.
ever get burnt out. Just please try not to get burnt out. I've done that before in game industry and it's not a good feeling. It's not
Mhm.
good. You need balance.
Yep. And again, like one like those like real risks of multiplayer is having like a dedicated live team to like keep the support going and keeping things exponentially growing. Which for a lot of live service games, they can really like blow up like that. But I think everyone kind of like dreams of having like an Among Us scenario where the game gets discovered, gets like massively blown up, and then then all the funding comes in. Then you're kind of given the keys to everything to go nuts with development.
I I think everyone would love for their game to blow up. Everyone wants to have the Stardew Valley game or the Minecraft, right? It's like something about that game, the little niche it had, people just loved about it. And what I've learned in game development, whether it's in school or being in the industry itself, was no matter how perfect your game is, if you don't market it well, it may not do well. Not saying it couldn't get well, but it's hard for people to know you if you don't know how to do it. And one of the areas that we were unfortunately not didn't have enough development on was the marketing side because everyone else had to focus on their other tasks. But even myself, I'm not a marketer. I'm a producer, so
Mm-hmm.
I can only do so much to help with social media posts. But we had no one designated for it, which I think would hurt us for sure. But
Mm-hmm.
I think if we had more time in post production, the live service updates would be part of it too. You would kind of have the retrospect of it. You would check on sales. So I am checking on sales. I do some social media posts here and there to help out honor games. I discuss with Eric any of the finances that he needs to know before I transition out. But if we had enough funding for it, the live service update, that type of team would definitely be on this. They would be checking for any bugs. They would be answering any review
Mm-hmm.
questions that the players would have. And then we would have a secondary team if we had enough funding, or if people are okay with revenue share still, and Eric makes a new team for a new update. The secondary team would be working on the next update for charge, while the live team would be the live ops team would be working on the current game itself and helping out where it could be.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And like I was telling on like the final meeting I had that they should all definitely feel proud for getting charge out, even with like a state like this, even with like most of the teams transitioning out, just being able to get this game out and getting it on a storefront is still a immense task to get it done.
100%. I mean, I'm super proud of everyone on Honor Games, whether they're there from the beginning to the end or just came in like me in the middle of it. They they all had a goal was to make this game.
Mhm.
Whether it was to put on their resume, maybe they just want to make it a hobby, maybe they just want to see they could do it or learn how to work on a team. But regardless, people had, knew this wasn't an hourly wage game and it was a risk on it, but they were able to pull it off. We all had our strengths and we all had our weaknesses and we all had to learn to deal with it together as a team. And
Mhm.
we still were able to push out this really fun game. I've never worked on a type of sci-fi game before, so this is my first shooting arena sci-fi game that I can now put in my resume. So thank you, Honor Games. And it was nice. It was interesting to work with the art team again. When I was at Other Ocean, I was a associate art, not an art director, but I worked with the art director and the producer for that with the teams in the Philippines. So it was always nice to work with the art teams on this project because I knew where they were coming from. But it has challenges.
Yeah.
So, but the team is super. I'm super proud of them, and I hope they are too. As much as we all want to see thousands and thousands of dollars coming out, I think like other people want. The reality is, there's only so much you can do if you don't promote it, if you don't market it well, or you don't have enough time to do it. Then the game may not be shown. It's a good game, and
Mhm.
I wish more people would play it with their friends and really say like, hey, this is really cheap, cheaper than most games at this quality. And so I think people miss the opportunity. But in the day, it comes down to marketing and how much are people willing to spend nowadays.
Yep. I guess as a time check, we are right at 10. So I guess for anyone watching this, we're going to take like about 10-15 minute break while I switch up to the next game. Before we do that, if you have any final questions for Kelsey, feel free to post them in chat. I guess for you, any final thoughts, anything that you would like to mention about working with Charge or working with For Honor?
I thought it was a very fun challenge. I was laid off in the game industry in 2022, and even though I did the nonprofit GG Women Professionals, I do thank Eric and Honor Games for letting me join an indie game so I can be back in games. And I think I hear a lot of, especially juniors, I hear a lot of people that are on indie games feel like, oh, I'm not in the game industry. Oh, this doesn't count. If you're making a game and you're going to put on Steam or itch.io, you are a game developer. You are working in the game industry. There are different niches in the game industry. There's AAA, AA, indie games, and then you have people with their community games and game jams and nonprofits. So they're all related to the game industry. And I would just say if you are someone that wants to come into the game industry and you think your little mobile game, your little itch.io game doesn't count, it counts. So just if you really are passionate about games, it is a tough market. But if you truly are consistent with it and work on it, and I think anyone can make it, you have to be okay with it being hard.
Yeah. And as I was saying, and to what you were just saying there, Kelsey, that just anything that you do, like having a shipped game under your name, whether it is you worked on the next Stardew or the next Among Us, or you just finished like a simple game, a game jam, a student project, it's all still very much you deserve praise for that. And
yes,
it is again like this is very much an industry of stepping stones. You have to grow if you want to have a chance at making it. And most people's first game is not going to turn out well. It may just be this very basic thing, may not even be functional in some cases. But you can grow from that, you can learn from that, you can apply it to your next project and the project after that. And it can lead to something else down the line.
100% agree. There are some of those wild cards that do really well for their first game. So the developer of Stardew Valley, I think that was their first game. It took them 8 years to make, but it was right. It was great, and they do updates here and there. But like you said, I would agree. Most of the time, your very first game isn't that perfect game that you want to do, and that's okay. It's good practice, right? You have a game out there. Someone will like it. So with Honor Games, this is their first debut game. And even we'll find maybe a little bug here and there and we'll update where we can, of course. But we know that this isn't the perfect game. We knew that we could have done more for Charge if there was time and funding into it. So with Honor Games' next game that will be coming out, known as Vultures, totally different genre, but it's still under Honor Games. I do hope that they take our lessons in Charge and really apply it to their project. So they'd be like, oh, Charge had to experience this team experienced it, so let's do this way instead. Which I hope it will help them. But that's the fun part. You get to learn with your mistakes.
Yep. I guess for you, Thorn, do you have any questions you want to ask before we kind of finish up this segment?
No, I really resonate with that. Everything's a stepping stone. Because you don't know what you don't know, and you got to ship a game to get better the next time, and the next time, and the next time.
Definitely agree.
Yeah, and it's also like, go finish your thought.
I was just gonna say, like Josh, like you being a YouTuber and streaming about games, you have game wisdom. I would say that's even considered under the game industry. People, I've heard game developers. I've heard people. Okay, how do I say this nicely? I've heard of some game developers, they don't always like YouTubers and streamers because they believe that why are they playing our game? Why should they get money through it or whatever it is? And then, but if you look at the sales, actually, streamers and YouTubers technically help the game sales because they show it to the public. So, you know, Josh, even though you definitely were a consultant, which we really appreciate, but I would say being a YouTuber and streamer would count under the game industry, in my opinion.
And all the
So thank
books
you.
I've written too. Thank you.
Yes.
And I think like one of the things I started in 2025 was doing more first time game developer coverage with my debut dev showcase. I have another one for this Wednesday where I'm just playing games from first time developers and trying to like give like a very new game some time to spotlight and also offer some of that advice, because a lot of this, again, as Thorn said, it really comes down to, you know, the stuff that you know and the stuff that you don't know. And there's a lot of stuff you don't know when you first start making a game.
Oh, I 100% agree. Schooling. So I did go to UC Santa Cruz for my game development. I got a BA and MS in game development, where your designer taught how to code. And I would say schooling is a great foundation. At the beginning of the game industry, there was no such thing as a degree in video games. You were normally just a regular programmer. There wasn't even a creative director back in the day. Designers did not have a director, while the other departments did at one point. So it's very fascinating to see the game industry and how it develops in its own way. But I would say schooling brought me a foundation. Now, does that mean you have to go to college? You can go to college if you feel like you cannot afford that, or you're like, I don't really want to go to college for this. They do have boot camps. There's a lot of YouTube Unity tutorials out there and Unreal. So people that don't go to college, they can probably still get in the game industry. But if you need more structure like me, I needed to go to school, like the actual colleges, to get more structure. But there's some people that can understand the structure of the master classes and those type of things where you can get into for your foundation. As Josh said, it can be crazy. Like, where do I start? And I would think 101, if you wasn't just a school, let's say you know some basic stuff, it would be the idea. What would you want to play? Right? If you had to make a game, what would you want to play yourself as a player? What do you like? And then I think you go off the idea and think about it. You start brainstorming. And then you start making your game loop and whatever is necessary.
All right. I think those are some great words to wrap up this section on. So, Kelsey, you mind hanging on the chat for like a few seconds after I'm cut the stream? But it was a pleasure hanging with you and the rest of the team. And yeah, I'll be definitely doing some more consulting with Vultures and seeing where that one leads.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Josh, for having Ian and Dave and I on. I know Ian's still here.
Yeah.
All right. And that's going to do it for this interview. So thank you, everybody, for watching. If you want to check out the game Charge, it is currently available now. There'll be a link to that in the video down below. If you'd like to your game for a future stream and showcase or do any other kind of consulting, be sure to get in touch. And as always, if you are a developer or want to come on to talk about your game or game dev in general, we have signups for the Perceptive Podcast series. Thanks for watching, and see everyone next time.